Yeah, that basically sums it up. For a majority of my life, I've never really watched anime. I had nothing against it, it's just I never really watched it outside of a few exceptions that were just kind of extensions of other things that I liked. But the hand of Weeb Jesus, or Weebus, if you will always catch up with you eventually, no matter how fast you try to run from it. So, because all my friends both really love anime and have been holding me at gunpoint until I finally make this video, please send help! Sorry about that. Anyways, because they've been very politely asking me, I'm here to answer the call. Now, I'm very new to anime. I've only seen 25 series. I'll list them here. Also, take this as a minor spoiler alert for these series. I will leave the time code for everyone in the description below. My anime experience is likely much different from yours. I've never seen most of the anime that people start off with. I've never seen Dragon Ball, Naruto, Sailor Moon. So, yeah, if I don't talk about one of the ones you may like, I likely haven't seen it, though it might be on my to-watch list. Or in the case of shows like Kill la Kill, Resort for Devilman Crybaby, I've had 3 separate people each tell me, yo, Stripe, dude, I love ya. These shows are dope. Don't do that, man. You're too sweet innocent for this. So screw it. If 3 of my best friends tell me not watch it, I'm not gonna watch it. I don't know what's going on in those shows, but if people are telling me not to watch it, yeah. So, anything else? Well, to better show my descent into weebdom, I'm going to order these shows in the order that I've seen them. That's all I need to say. Let's go down to the deep depths of weeb heck to see what Japan can offer. May God have mercy on my soul. What was your first anime? Mine was Pokemon, because of freaking course it was. Now, I should mention I've only seen the first 5 generations of the anime, though I have seen all the movies. Do I really need to say anything here? It's Pokemon. You all know how it goes. If you have any interest in Pokemon, you've at least tried out the anime. Pokemon has its ups and downs. I mean, of course it does. It's got literally over 1,000 episodes. But I still say its ups are still quite high. Every generation of the series has a handful of episodes I still find myself going back to, though it's mostly the ones that have my favorite Pokemon in them. Pokemon means a lot to me, even if I grew up out of the anime a bit. It was my first anime, one of my favorite shows growing up, had my first fictional crush. Since you're the still best Pokemon girl, don't at me. It actually helped me play through the games when I got confused. One of the first times I ever cried at a show. Maybe a simple kids cartoon, but it's one I still love. It's also worth mentioning the 27 spin-offs of the original anime. There's the Minchi Dungeon trilogy, which is cute. The Raikou special, which I love because Raikou gets no love at all. I'm just happy he finally gets some attention. The amazing music video they released recently, Generation and Twilight Wings, which I've heard great things about but I haven't seen. And then there's Origins. Origins is great for a miniseries, though I kind of despised it when it first came out. I get tired of Gen 1 pandering a lot in Pokemon, and this is released in Gen 6, where it was at its absolute worst. The cam starters are available in X and Y, and we're getting Megas. Charizard can smash his own character. Gen 1 mons are almost always in the spotlight in merchandise. Most of the Pokemon and Pokken were Gen 1, and of course, this. I was just so tired of Gen 1 being shoved in my face, and when it said they were going to reveal a brand new Pokemon in Origins, only to be turned out to be another form of Charizard, I'm pretty sure I punched a hole in the brick wall. I really hated Charizard back then. I mean, okay, nowadays I like him. He looks cool, has amiibo, I play him in Smash occasionally, we have coffees on the weekend, but back then, I was just so annoyed at all the focus on him and Kanto. But looking back at it critically, it's a very well made miniseries. I don't have nostalgia for the first generation because it was before my time, but yeah, I can actually say it is objectively better than the original anime. Red is a more fleshed out character than Ash, and the animation, especially that fight between Charizard and Mewtwo, is just beautiful. I don't think I really need to say anything else about this. It's Pokemon. You already know what Pokemon is. Why do I even include this in the video? It's freaking Pokemon. Sonic X. Why am I talking about this? Okay, whatever. Sonic X is about Sonic. He gets yeeted out of his home zone to Earth, where he meets Chris Thorndike, who everyone but I seems to hate. His face is about Dr. Eggman. reunites with all of his old friends. It's Sonic. It's a kid show. There's not really much to say here. I do like the adaptation of some of the game stories, like the Adventure Duology and a final season where they return to the Sonic world. It's really fun. But for the majority of the show, it's just your run-of-the-mill kid show. It's fine. It's not bad. It's fine. If you're looking for something deeper, why are you watching this? It's freaking Sonic, dude. I don't know. Kirby Right Back At You is the Citizen Kane of anime. When I think of absolute perfection, I think of Kirby Right Back At You 2001. It is a masterful piece of cinema, so masterful it's not even in cinemas. It's too good for that. You may think I'm just memeing here, but think of it this way. Can you name me any other thing that has the episode Waddle While You Work? An episode where every single member of Dreamland gets their own Waddle Dee? No. Point hecking proven. Listen, I asked several professional cool people what their thoughts of Kirby Back At You are, and they said this. According to Alfred Hitchcock, he calls Kirby an absolute masterpiece. This anime inspired me more than my own parents, and all of my films were just a pale imitation to capture a fraction of this magnificent piece of art. When I played Elvis Presley, the theme song to Kirby, he told me, "I will see you never. I am going to die on the toilet, as I know I will never be able to produce a musical piece as masterful as this theme song." When I brought Abraham Lincoln back to life and I had him watch this show, he told me, "I don't know what a Kirby is. I'm only here for free pizza." And if you still think I'm joking, just remember this. Spanish Man Night and Texas Plantation DVD. I am still alive today because of Spanish Man Night and Texas Plantation DVD. This anime has cured my depression, revived my dog, and taught me how to love, and that's just from me seeing Espargoon. If you want to know what perfection is, all you need to do is hop on that Warp Star and go see that there Kirby in Dreamland. It is absolute perfection. So Apollo might have been my first anime. I didn't really know what anime was when I first saw it. I just thought it was another cartoon. But the first time I found out what anime actually was with Stitch. Yes, that Stitch. Hear me out. The Lilo and Stitch anime, called Stitch with the exclamation point for some reason, was the first time I heard the term anime. I love Lilo and Stitch. The movie is one of my favorite films of all time. Stitch is one of my favorite characters of all time. I have way too many Stitch merchandise. I am 21 years old. I even love the animated series and all the direct-to-DVD sequels. I wanted literally anything Stitch related back when I was a kid, which led me to this anime series. So before I talk about the anime, let me ask you a question. What is the message of Lilo and Stitch? Ohana means family, and family means no one gets left behind. Obviously. That's the most well-known thing in the entire series. So, of course, this show starts with Jumba just nonchalantly saying that Lilo left Stitch for a new boyfriend. What? As a fan of the original series, this honestly just kind of insulted me. It's like if you made a Shrek anime, and Shrek was being over human for the entirety of the show, because they like that look more and they wanted to be accepted by society. Like, have you even seen the source material? Well, besides that, how is the show? I don't know. It seems pretty cheap. It's supposed to take place after the American series and the deep emotional Lilo and Stitch timeline, even though at the end of that, Gontu and Ruben switched sides and became good guys, but they're evil in this show for some reason. There's this new girl who's just Lilo light. In general, it just seems no one cared about the show. And if the creators don't care, why should I? I still love the Stitch franchise. This is easily the worst of it. Until the inevitable live-action remake, of course. The most interesting thing about the show, though, is that it exists. Like, a anime based off a Western series. Like, that never happens, right? Powerpuff Girls Z. I'm sorry. I only have half of my view. So it's kind of hard to read the script and you only have half the view. I'm sorry. I'm no longer Mike Wazowski. If you don't remember this show, I envy you. This feels like a parody. I mean, a Powerpuff Girls anime where they're all magical girls, but it's called Powerpuff Girls Z. Doesn't this sound like an early YouTube animation? But no, it's real, and it's bad. It is so bad. The original show's characters are pretty simple, but it works for that. This show is even more watered down than that. But girls are super annoying. They scream every other sentence. Mojo Jojo is still pretty great though. He's basically just the original version. The only difference is he's tall. You know, I realized PowerPuff Girls has had 3 major remakes as of the time I'm writing this. And despite all the changes they make to the actual girls and everything else in this show, they always keep Mojo the same. Almost like Jojo is the greatest character ever made. But yeah, not much else to see here. If you want a generic magical girl anime, this exists. I know it's a kid's show, so I shouldn't hold it up to this much scrutiny. But the original is a kid's show too, and it still holds up very well. The really most interesting thing about this show is that, along with Stitch, it exists. Like, you see the West adapt Japanese media a lot, but never really the other way around. So it's kind of that appeal, I guess. Besides that, though, it exists. That's really all I could say. And because of that show was so bad, I never watched anime again. For 7 years. As explained before, I don't hate anime. It's just, I took a break from it. I don't know why, really. I just never felt the reason to watch it. That was until high school, where everyone I knew forced me at gunpoint to watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So I did. Peer pressure. So, with me starting in 2017, and all of my friends loving it, and even becoming an anime fan myself, to the point where, I made this video, you might expect me to be caught up with the show, right? No. I've only seen the first 2 parts. I haven't even gotten to stands yet. I mean, I like what I've seen. I'm just busy. It's really that simple. I just don't have time to watch the show. I keep forgetting that the show exists. I'm sorry. I mean, I do like what I've seen so far. The first arc is a good setup to the world, giving us the first versions of Jojo and Dio, and introducing us to Haman. And the second part I love mostly because of Joseph. He's just a lot of fun. I'll finish it eventually, but for now, it's not much else to do, but move on. How far would you go for your art? How far would you push yourself to make something? I pushed myself for a certain video, to the breaking point. And I don't mean I did something dangerous, or I put myself in harm. I did something even worse than that. I watched 2 god-awful anime series for a video that I don't even like that much. The first of these 2 were Rosario+Vampire, or Rosario and Vampire. I don't care enough to look it up. For those fortunate enough to not know this show, the plot is basically about a human boy somehow getting to a school full of monsters, and it's him dealing with being a human in this world of vampires and monsters, and his girlfriend's a vampire, and he's trying to make sure that no one else finds out that he's a human, because the humans and the vampires hate each other in this world. The reason I hate this show so much is because this concept is actually great. There's a lot you can do with this concept. How do humans and monsters see each other? Will one be able to accept the other, especially when the human overthrows a system that the monsters hate? This is a great concept. The show is nothing but fan service. Listen, I'm fine with fan service if it's not the only thing the show focuses on. Fan service is literally the only thing the show has to offer. And it's constant. I don't think there's a single solitary minute without it. Characters all suck too. Can't be interested in them. The main character is the single most boring character in history. I can't tell you a single thing about him personality-wise. Clank from Ed and Eddie has more personality, and he's literally a piece of wood. And then there's Mocha, the reason I watched this show in the first place. And I said in this video, she is the colossal Mary Sue. She's got no real personality. All she really does is just come in and beat whatever the villain is with a single kick. There's nothing to these characters. All the other characters are just annoying. They have a single gag they repeat every time they appear. If it wasn't for me making this one video, I would have never even thought about watching this show. Just avoid it at all costs. Please, it is bad. That leaves us the second anime that I've watched for that video, Sword Art Online. Or as I call it, I'm really surprised I got an anime after watching this show. The reason I think it's so bad is that SAO actually has a really great premise. A game that kills you in real life if you die in the game, while being a huge ripoff of that one episode of Fairy Odd Parents, does have a lot of potential. And they do capitalize it on the earlier episodes. Kirito here is portrayed as having some trouble getting along with others, and he may have some kind of anxiety. I actually liked him in the first 3 or so episodes. When I first watched this, I was confused about all the hate. It seemed really good for the first 3 episodes. Then it got bad fast. As explained in a previous video, Kirito is a massive Mary Sue. He's loved by everyone, has no personality, and it is ridiculously overpowered. And of course, the fan service is everywhere. The show basically becomes ecchi. I'll give Rosario some credit. At least it was upfront with how degenerate it was. SAO, I hate even more because it led me on. It said, hey, this might actually be good. But no, it's not. It is not good. It is not. It is bad. It is the opposite of good. In fact, it is bad. I thought I could like the show, only have the rug pulled in front of me. That's why I hate the show so much. It could have been good, but then it just dissolved into nothing but fan service and Kirito being Kirito. At least it did give us Kirito.jpg. The reason we still exist today. Also, their bridge series is pretty good, so go watch the bridge series instead of this. So after watching those two god-awful shows back to back, I never thought I'd be in an anime. But my friends kept pushing me, and they decided to listen to Fairy Godmother. They decided I need a hero. Based on my love of superhero movies and just being a good jumping on point in general, almost all my friends suggested me to watch My Hero Academia, and my life has never been the same since, for better or for worse. The show is about Izuku Midoriya, also known as Deku, becoming a superhero, going to the superhero school, and meeting a bunch of friends and foes along the way. Well, not my first anime, I still call it my gateway, and thus it holds a special place in my heart. A lot of people don't really like this show. Some of it might just be because it's popular so it sucks, which I'll talk about in another video maybe. But there's another reason people might not like it, which I'll get to later. But again, I still hold it pretty highly. I won't say My Hero is the greatest show ever made. You know, it might not even make my top 10 favorite anime out of the ones I've seen so far. But again, I still really enjoyed it. Like, you know those really annoying people who won't shut up about something they're interested in? I became that person for a week while I was watching this. This show is basically all I could think of. My Hero's biggest strength is definitely its cast of characters. I love them all, with one glaring exception. I have trouble picking my favorite from all the characters in this series. Deku, Bakugo, Todoroki, Uraraka, Sue, All Might, Aizawa. Even the villains are great. The League of Villains seem like this generic bad guy group, but most of them have reasons for being evil. My favorite villain is Stain, who I've already talked about in this video, subtle plug. Honestly, the first 3 seasons of My Hero are pretty fantastic. I would recommend these to people who don't even like anime. And then there's season 4. Okay, listen, I don't hate season 4. Overhaul is a threatening villain, Eri is baby, Big 3 are a lot of fun, Juri, my favorite, she is best girl. The festival was the absolute blast. General Criminal and La Bravo are very close to overthrowing Stain as my favorite villain, but there's one big problem, and that's the pacing. The pacing is horrendous. I mean, the festival stuff is fine, but the Yakuza stuff, awfully paced. You could tell the exact same story in half the amount of time. This season burned some people so badly, some of the very people who recommended this show to me dropped it after this season. And I mean, I can't really blame them, I guess. I still liked it overall, but it is a very severe drop in quality, in my opinion. Still, this series will remain a personal favorite for me. I'm still excited for season 5. The 4th season was pretty meh, but the first 3, they went beyond plus ultra. I'm so sorry. Have you ever wondered what Monster Inc. would look like if it was anime? That's basically Somali in the Forest Spirit. The Guardian of the Forest, a golem simply named it the Golem, finds a lost human girl in the woods. Humans and all other species hate each other in this world, but since she's just a kid, the Golem decides to take her back to humanity, and the show is both of them journeying into the human world, along with meeting up with other monsters that some try to help, some try to murder them. Somali is probably the most beautiful anime series I've ever seen. Every background should be framed. Somali herself is yet another addition to the long list of sickeningly adorable anime characters, and the Golem, despite being emotionless by design, is a character you grow very attached to, and you want to see him spend time with Somali, even if he's slowly dying. Honestly, there's not much to say about this show. This is only 1 season as the time of writing this. It's beautiful, it's emotional, and it's all around great. Highly recommend. Next we have Madoka Magica, a show my second favorite, ridiculously powerful but cute pink thingy. Madoka is odd. I think we all know about the twist by now. Even before watching it, I knew that the show wasn't what it seemed, and it's a deconstruction of your normal magical girl anime. But aside from that, what do I think of it? Well, I like it, I think. This is by far the hardest anime to write about, in my opinion. Mostly because I just don't know what to say. Let's start with the good. The biggest highlight is the animation of the witches. They have this strange art style that clashes with the main art style, but in the best way possible. It's so twisted and striking. It's like, remember that one really dark Alice in Wonderland game? Reminds me a lot of that. I also really like most of the characters, like especially Madoka and Homura. Not QB though. Also, it gave me depression. That's always fun. But when it comes to downsides, I don't have any. But it just doesn't click with me. It's not bad by any means. Don't get me wrong. It's just not really for me. Maybe knowing the twist killed it, but I don't know. One of my best friends says this show means a lot to them, so I'm happy that people can connect with it so well, but for some reason, there's this disconnect with me that caused me to not love it as much as most. I still like it, don't get me wrong. It's just not really my thing, I guess. Some people just vibe with lesbian witch children better than others, I suppose. Netflix has a whole host of original anime that everyone loves. Then there's this. No one talks about this. I can see why. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love this show, but it is so freaking stupid. The plot is simple. A girl goes to the army and becomes a pilot, but the planes are dragons for some reason. And when they go into their dragon plane, we see the inside of the dragon, this disgusting stomach and veins and all of that. I'd make a lore joke here, but I don't like a repeat joke, so I made one in the Halloween video. That doesn't count. That's not a joke. No one finds something funny. So yeah, it is so stupid. But I mean, I'm a guy who made a video claiming that stupid is an eldritch horror. I like stupid. And that is a lot of anime. And I haven't even got half of the shows that I talked about, though granted, it's 25 shows, so it's a lot of shows. So instead, my first ever two-part anime video. Well, it'll be my only anime video, maybe, I don't know, but this is a two-part is what I'm trying to say. So come back sometime for part 2 where I cover all of this, all of it, every one of it. Hopefully. Or maybe I'll die before then. I don't know. My dogs are barking. I don't know if you can hear that. Part 2 coming soon!
Kirby, that's a name you should know. Kirby, he's a star.